The Magicians, Death Hits the Road, by Rachel Lawson.
"What brings you Aussies over here?" asked John Rothke, the new boss of two young-looking Australians.
"We wanted to go on a road trip across the USA, and my American dad said we should do work as we go," said Blake Alexander. "We got our working visas and passports and came."
"So you signed up as truckers," said John. "You will see the country for sure, but you won't be in the same truck." "We don't get along well, that's good. We're trying to break the ice between us," said Blake's adult son, who looked the same age as his father. "Then why don't you go on a road trip together?" asked John. "Dad is doing a travel blog," said Lance. Blake wasn't. He scowled at his son. Now he had to. "Oh, really?" said John. "Yes," said Blake, wondering what he'd do a blog on. "What sort of blog?" asked John. "Trucking across America," said Blake, glaring at his son. "Nice idea," said John. "You must give me the link. I want to see it." "Me too," said Lance, stifling a laugh. "I haven't started it yet," said Blake awkwardly. "Do you have a map of the route?" asked Lance. "Map? No, we have a GPS in all the trucks," said John. "Do you have a radio call sign?" "Yes, he's Assassin Angel," said Blake. Lance glared at Blake. He was an assassin who killed bad people, and in his sleep, he killed two as the Angel of Death. Lance felt betrayed. "And he's called Rabbit Killer," said the insulted Lance. Blake was a magician by trade. His partner in the act had a trick which usually killed rabbits. It distressed Blake a lot. Lance knew it hurt his dad to hear it. "Rather brutal names, but I think they'll work," said John, shocked by the names. "This is Trey, he'll show you the ropes." John left them in the hands of Trey, the head of the truckers in the trucking line. Lance looked interested in this stranger. He was what brought him and his father there. He had been using his job as a way to get away with murder. Trey was a serial killer who was not caught yet. Blake and Lance knew because of their other jobs as Grim Reapers. As such, his crimes were known by them. They were in human form, so they didn't look suspicious. They were there to entrap him for the police, who didn't know of him yet. The police knew these Reapers as the Necromancer, Lance, and Mortimer, also known as the King of Death, Blake. "Hello, Trey," said Blake. "Hello." Trey read Blake's ID badge John made for Blake. Trey said, "Blake, you too, come with me." Lance and Blake followed him to a truck. "This is Betsy, my truck," said Trey. "Nice wheels," said Lance of Betsy. "Yes, she's a Mac," said Trey, admiring Betsy. "Nice," said Blake, not sure what was so good about a truck. To him, it was just another truck. "She is," said Trey. "How much trucking experience have you had?" "I was a driver back in Oz," lied Lance, who was a reporter before he came out as the assassin called the Necromancer a Grim Reaper. "What about you?" Trey asked Blake. "I drove a Kenworth," lied Blake, saying the name of a truck maker, who he only knew of it as he'd seen the factory. He knew nothing of trucks. "Oh, one of them," mumbled Trey. "Hop in, Blake," Trey said, climbing into the passenger seat of Betsy. "Why?" asked Blake. "Testing your driving," said Trey. "Oh," Blake said, nervously jumping in the truck's driver's seat. "Drive," said Trey. "Okay," said Blake, turning on the truck. He smiled. He thought this wasn't too hard. Lance laughed his head off. Trey looked angry and worried. "What?" asked Blake, wondering what was wrong. Then he saw a car driving on the wrong side of the road. Blake beeped the horn at them. "Pull over," said Trey, steering away from the car crashing off the road, being beeped at by the car driving off. "He was driving on the wrong side of the road," said the frustrated Blake. Lance had run to them to see if they were all right. "No, you idiot, they drive on the other side of the road in America," Lance shouted at him. "Oh," said Blake, embarrassed. Trey was looking for damage on Betsy. She wasn't damaged. Trey looked murderous and was using such foul language that shocked the semi-prudish Blake. "My turn," said Lance. "He's too angry for you to have a turn," said Blake, climbing out of the cab. "Oh, is that a scratch?" said Lance. A scratch appeared on the truck magically. Trey looked at where Lance was pointing. Trey lost it completely. "You hurt Betsy," screamed Trey, pulling a tire iron from inside Betsy and thumping Blake with it. Blake moaned in pain and glared at Lance. "Thanks, boy," Blake moaned at Lance accusingly. Trey continued beating at Blake. He beat Blake to death, and Lance watched horrified. "You killed my dad, you monster," cried Lance. "You can't live," said Trey,
turning on Lance, his witness, with all intentions to kill him too. Lance backed away from him and his dead father, scared. Trey pulled out a knife, and Lance backed away more, knowing he was about to die, and he couldn't speak. Lance fell, looking more horrified. Trey knelt over Lance. "I can't have a witness," said Trey, putting the knife to Lance's neck, about to cut it. Lance gasped, feeling the sting of the cold steel cutting his neck, knowing he was close to death. He drew in a last breath. Lance closed his eyes, and death came swiftly as it came to all. "Open your eyes," ordered a voice. "I'm not dead?" asked Lance. "You're not alone either," said the voice. Lance got up and saw Trey was dead, and he was bleeding but not dead. "What took you so long?" said Lance, infuriated as he hit the owner of the voice. "You let him beat me to death," moaned a Grim Reaper angrily. "We planned it, you annoy him, he kills you. I play possum, and you kill him," said Lance. "I didn't like the idea in the first place," said Blake, coming back to life when the Reaper, his soul, lay into his dead body. "I hate when fate gets ideas of killing people that include me." "Let's go, we have to take his soul to the afterlife, Dad," said Lance. The Reapers took the soul and left, and the police saw Trey kill Blake and his son on CCTV, and realized this was a serial killer, and the serial killings would be over.